what I can put it on is a God-given. You mine something at 0.5 meters. You go on the market, you sell. That's what I can tell you all about.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, one of the issues also that stakeholders have raised concern is the fact that ZCCM, as major miners at Kasenseli, have also incorporated foreign contractors. What is your take on that?
Charit, I'll tell you something. The head of state, His Excellency, had given an opportunity to ZCCM, a leeway to check. Let me take you back a little bit. When the people of Mununga discovered the gold, there was no ZCCM. Number one. There was a man called Kasoloki Brown, with the 3 people mining in an area where Chiliwe Mining, the owner of Chiliwe Mining, he never knew that there was gold in Winilunga. Okay? This is a very big issue that people in this country are not understanding. A villager comes in, a teacher, a deputy teacher from a very far away, with the people in trying to get quality to do his house and other things, discovers gold with people in Kasenseri. We're talking about last year in May. So, Charit, this is something that the ZCCM, they're not understanding. So the head of state, of course, gave a leeway to ZCCM to say, you go. But the ZCCM have got a problem with that. The ZCCM would have gotten the 60% and brought about 40% to the Zambian people, which they have not done. Yeah.
Do the Zambians have the capacity to mine this gold? And is it coming as a surprise? Have we had gold for a long time, or we are really talking about it because we have located a particular site where it is? Because I would love to believe that a whole lot of areas in Zambia have got precious minerals.
Charit, what I'll tell you, gold has been there, even in Kaunda's time. Mwanawasa was taught, President Mwanawasa, may he so rest in peace, he was taught by Keke. The first site that we had of gold in Zambia was Chadiza. Chadiza in Vubwi, under Chief Mpepamwe. That was around 2008. There were too much, it was given to the Chinese. It took issues and issues at Ministry of Mines during the time of President Michael Sato, when Minister Yaruma was the Minister of Mines, before even Musukwa came in as a minister. There are so many issues in Chadiza in Vubwe. Before even they discovered, it was there in small deposit. We didn't have an idea. Initially, President KK is still alive, as we're talking now. He knows where the deposits are sitting right now. Because if we say, Chait, I'm sorry to shut you down. If we say, if Kaunda had said, let's start mining, Zambia would have been like Congo.
How in what area? Because there is the Congo.
You know, Congo DR, what you are seeing Congo now, is not a safe place to be. Zambia is a quiet place where everyone wants to be there. Foreigners, people outside the country. So this time, what has come out is a different thing, where Zambia should wake up after 56 years of independence.
Is that not the dust that you're trying to raise with this whole talk about the gold itself, especially at Kasenseli? Let's say ZCCM in itself, the deal with ZCCM, what issues do you have with it?
You know, I'll tell you something. In Kasenseli, manually, the issue which happened recently, if you heard of the president raising issues to command the police command to arrest all these guys that were involved in the gold system, gold scandal, saga, to say. The gold that is found in Kasenseri is something that you can dig with a shovel and pick. Okay? You expose the vein, to say in another technology, you get a shovel in one little sack on a shovel, you get 80 grams. You get the silver mercury, you catch the gold, you make 320 grams, which gives you 300,000 kwacha, to say. That's a gold you found in Mwinilunga. But this is why the Zambian people are complaining, mainly the people in Mwinilunga. Here comes the CCM. gives the Chinese colony 19% shares, leaving out the people that discovered gold with nothing, maybe 1.5 shares. And he pays the government of Zambia 2.5 million. If I got people like Comrade Munia, Comrade Webi, even Evaristo Mtambo, the owner of Kampoko, the one who discovered the gold among the directors, they can pay that money in cash.
And what is stopping, for example, the people that you've mentioned?
No. When the Kampoko discovered the gold, there was a wrangle. There were so many issues happening in Kasenseri. Number one, His Excellency had given 90 days to the locals to put things in order with Ministry of Mines. Ministry of Mines moved on the site. Number two, when the president had flown into Northwestern Province, we were on the trip to go to Kasenseri with him. I remember Comrade GBM was there, Comrade Nakachinde, Christopher Sambaulu, the people from Winirunga, even Christopher Evaristo Mtambo, the director of Kampoko, and the PCB, even Tony, the Lukunda Mbako, the owner of Chiribe Mine, the one who gave consent to all these mines, he was there. But the surprising matter, the CCM has not done its work. They haven't done the drilling to get the quantity of deposit down. Then they just come up when they discover the gold. Have you ever seen how the gold looks like in Kasenseri? It's a different thing.
Okay.
The deposit, we're talking of digging in 1 meter, you get about 1 kg, 2 kg. How much is 2 kg nowadays? Dollar is at 18. Are you getting me, Charlie? This is something which is so disappointing with the CCM. Here comes a Chinese colony.
So why do you think they decided to take that step? If, as you are putting it, it's that easy to actually get the gold in Kasenseli, you don't even have to dig very deep for you to have it. That's like everybody's fruitcake. I mean, I want to go there and pick it for myself. So why would they want to engage other people? What is your interpretation?
You know, the most thing that I'll answer you in this way. The Ministry of Mines have got the Minimum Mines Act, which Comrade Musukwa has claimed to say the PCB and Kampoko never followed the rules of Mines and Minerals Act 2015, which Comrade Yaluma left when he was the Minister of Mines. So they had to put rules around to say these guys are doing illegal mining. The president himself suspended the licenses. That was okay for him. But what was the next step for the people of Zambia, or for the government of Zambia to do that? I don't know what they were thinking about. After we had reported even the case of all these cadres that were involved in this matter, he was supposed to come back to the people that originally found the deposit of gold. Charity. Okay?
Yeah.
To give them a leeway of 30% from the CCM. Many the Kampoko. It's so sad that the CCM IH can think too low to sell 19 shares to a Chinese colony. Do you know what happened in Kasenseri when that Chinese Oshon came to the mine? They chased him. They called him COVID-19.
Oh no, but I asked, like, if it is that easy to get the gold, why should it not be utilized by
Our local people.
Our local people, because it sounds like it's very easy.
Do you know the excuse the ZCCM has given the Ministry of Mines?
You tell us.
They are saying that they are doing illegal mining. That's the excuse that they've given the people of Zambia. They're just the illegal mining.
Who was doing illegal mining?
The PCB and the Kampoko. That's what the Minister of Mines is saying. We moved with the Minister of Mine, the Minister of Mine Minister, Richard Musukwa. He was there.
Okay.
The only excuse that we don't know, ever knows, that there has been illegal mining. So it's better to give a foreigner than a Zambian.
How easy or difficult is it for a local to get the permit?
There's no difficult.
To start mining. How do you legalize your mining?
Of course, I need to have directors in the company under PACRA ZRA certificate. As simple as that. I look for a place. I discover if there's gold or copper. I apply for it. Takes 30 days. If they approve, there's no one there who's owning the land. Of course, of bottom rights, they give me a license. Simple as that.
So if they were told that the only disadvantage was that they were doing illegal mining, well, first of all, let's establish, were they actually doing illegal mining?
It's in Kasensere, of course.
Were they doing illegal mining?
They are not doing illegal mining. Let me just come there a little bit. Kampoko Resources Limited company has done a lot of jobs there. As I'm talking to you right now, they're under pressure with the money they got around from people. Number one, not even the minister or the PS Banaba Mulenga, neither the directors of mines had to say, Kampoko, we are so sorry for what you're passing through. Nothing like that.
Okay.
What they did, they even did the drilling according to the act of Zema and the Minister of Mines. But their neighbor, it's not them, it's the locals that were initially coming into their premises of their licenses, digging every day, getting the soil, go and wash the soil, getting the mercury. That's what made to look like these two companies were doing illegal mining.
All right. I'm feeling like you are very attached to this particular case, and I'd love to hear from you. Do the Zambians have the capacity to manage gold mining, for example? This is not strange, as we have heard. We know that Zambia is endowed with a lot of natural resources. Is there any interest from Zambians to actually get involved in the sector?
It is. They have a very big interest, many in Kasensere. I won't talk about another of like the Mumbwa issue and other mineral around the country. Mm-hmm. I'll put it right to the Mununga issue.
Okay. We
have the capacity to mine. Kampoko has got the capacity to mine.
What is stopping the Zambians? You are particularly attaching yourself to Kampoko, am I right?
I'm not doing that. You know, I've been from the bottom of this matter. I've been following the issue of Munyilunga from 15th of May last year. Before even His Excellency, the Republican President, came to know that there's God. Even the minister himself came to know that there's God. Even the owner of the license.
When there was illegal mining?
There was illegal mining then.
Okay. So before they got to, before the people you've mentioned got to know about it, what stopped the Zambian from doing the right thing?
They did the right thing. Charity, I'll tell you, they did the right thing. When Kasoloki discovered the gold with the 3 people that he had in the field, his aim was to discover bad copper. But these guys, they see a yellow glittering thing. Okay? What is this? They go and test, they found it's a 3 kg broke. He goes in Lusaka, he sells it. And he comes in, and he's told how mining goes about of gold. Even the other minerals which they are found at Kasensere gold mine. He goes and looks for the owner. Who is Chiliwe? Mining company. Owned by a certain man called Rukundo Makungo. Tony, another name. He says, I'm interested in your area. Tony they agree. He says, okay, fine, give me $100,000.
You're losing me. The person who went to the owner of the mine
is Kasoloki.
The buyer of the first.
The one who engaged people to go and to search for other minerals, the copper around the area.
Okay.
Are you getting the story? Then now, if you want to apply a license, he wanted to apply. They tell him to say at Cadastra, this area is owned by a certain man called Tony Makungu, Rukunda. The license called Chiriwe Mining, a company called Chiriwe Mining, license number 2122. That license is 77,902 hectares of land. The whole entire Munyilunga is owned by one company. Are you getting me? So from there, Kasaloki leaves and goes applies. He follows the normal procedure. He gets a small scale license. And he starts doing the procedure normally. The application of submitting to Zema, everything was done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what? So how did they find themselves being graded as illegal miners?
The locals, you know, from the main pit, from the main pit, where the gold was discovered, to the town of Kasenseri, it's about a good over 6 to 7 kilometers. Okay, 6 to 7 kilometers. So from there, the 6 to 7 kilometers, the people that discovered now, they started getting small nuggets out of that area. The whole entire village came. You can't restrict the people. You have discovered something that can give money, some finances to the local people. Even a grade 5 rides a motorbike in Mwinirunga this time as I'm talking to you. Small young age 12, they are building their own houses. They did that last year. So what comes next? The whole village floods down into the Kasenseri gold mine. The videos all over on Facebook, Google.
Yes, we know the flocking.
The flocking of the people.
Yes.
So the pick and shovel. The Minister of Mines never followed all those stories. They only looked the side of what is happening in Kasenseri.
All right. Now, you contained that with the gold that is there at Kasenseri, Zambia is able to clear all of her debts.
What we did, Charity, is one more thing. There's a geologist that did a marriage job there by the name of Nkemba last year. I remember in July. Okay? What he did was very simple. This geologist went all over the area in Kampoko area, which was about 932 hectares of land. Okay? And whatever they did, and the Kampoko, the drilling they did, there were so many deposits down there. Partially, it was talking of 15 years lifespan. Maybe the Zambian government or the locals, what they came up with a report can do to 1 year. Annually, we can make $199 million without using proper machineries, with what at that time they had last year. So there's a proper report that these guys they did. The Chilean geologist, all these, I was with them in the bush, trying to get the whole story.
All right. Now, with all this that you are saying passionately about, and I'm here wondering, you are from the Zambian Youth League. Your advocacy is to see the betterment of lives for young people, the youths and the likes. And I'm thinking these are opportunities that we look for to see to it that the youths are employed and the likes. And human resources, one of the major things that plays a vital role in the improvement of economies. And we have the resources, we have the youths. How best can Zambia approach this issue if they're to make the best out of it?
The approach that the government of Zambia had done, if they wanted to do it now, they would have engaged Kapoko, who's got an idea, build up a mine.
Why just one person?
No, there are so many licenses around that area. But specifically what we are discussing here is the main pit where the gold is found, the main belt of the golds of Kasenseri. And the original owners of that license is Kampoko and PCB. Because they had a plan already, where to build a town, how to build this and that. So if they had engaged this, before the ZCCM came in, if they had engaged the Kampoko, because the plan is already there, to build up the ball mills, the smelter, the hospital, the clinics that side. We are talking of a starting point of Kampoko, which they had employed. Many of the youths were about 1,000. Kampoko is in debts because of Zambian government under the Ministry of Mines and the CCM. They had employed 1,000 youths to move around, those who were searching the belt to know where the belt is, those who are doing the sampling, those who are doing the drilling. Kampoka has got machinery.
Okay.
This is a local company, 100% local company, owned by Evaristo Mtambo and Aris Chabuka Mambwe. Two directors in that company. They engaged the locals from Mwinyunga, Kasoloki Brown, Christopher Sambau, Jonathan Manjomba. They come together, they form this thing to work for the people of Zambia.
So have they been closed down completely?
They have got no chance. They're not called for meetings by ZCCM. I'm so disappointed by Chipata, the director of ZCCM.
What is the trail like for ZCCM? How has been their performance with regard to mining? What has been your expectation and what has actually been realized?
I'll take you back. You and me, I think we were young then. But when I sat with people that have experienced in ZCCM before, Comrade Charles Midopi, I've been engaging him in so many things about these issues of mining. We had KCM. In the reign of President Mwanawasa and Finance Minister then Ngando Magande. They sold the KCM. Zambia had a lot of stock of copper ore mined already, which can go to 2 to 3 years. They sold the mine at a cheap price, $25 million. After 3 years, what happened? Charity. The Zambian government was paid in full. And Vandent remained with a profit of almost $50 million. It's still owing us about $240 million, I believe so. But what is the Zambian government saying? What they have been accusing Hakainde Hichilema, the opposition leader, of being part of privatization. I'll be open with you. I'm not a partisan in such issues. Is what my government of PF is doing right now. Which is? Selling shares to a foreigner, 19% at $2.5 million. Which you and myself, or neither David Sapindalo or Moses Makalashi, who are in Munyunga right now, can get a pick and shovel and make a $2.5 million in 1 week.
Is that going to benefit the rest of the country, or it's going to benefit certain individuals? Because from what I'm getting, whatever is found in particular areas does not mean that it's just for that particular area. But Zambia as a whole has to benefit as a nation because these resources belong to everybody. So how does that get spread out to the rest of the Zambians? How does it go to the national coffers if it's going to be personalized?
I won't answer that one. I don't know how ZCCM has done the sharing of the shares. They haven't even called the owners of it. What is there right now is that, I want to tell you openly, what we have heard right now from ZCCM, IH, is that the shares are only be sold to a certain Sudanese. They haven't sorted out the shares. The ZCCM is owning 51%. Are you getting me? Mm-hmm. The rest of the shares, it has been sold. They're hiding names. The only which has come out is a Chinese colony, who got about 19% shares.
2.5 million.
2.5 million. It's so sad. After 56 years of independence, Charity, a country like Zambia, we can't talk about anything that we have done, infrastructure. I don't know.
The government, however, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, has made administrative changes with regard to the police service there. Is that not a step in the right direction?
It is. I'll tell you why the President of Zambia was so much upset. There was cut off communication. I'll use a Zambian language to say, there was cut off communication. There's too much corruption, just from the patriotic front itself to the upper way which happened. It took me, Charit, to drive to Mwinunga with my personal money, to argue with the police, to get a fund to fund a commissioner, himself, Namachila, myself, as MMO. I went in the capacity of myself, not with my organization. I called Namachila and told him, have you allowed illegal mining happening here? Does the President of the Republic of Zambia know about this happening? Because he had mentioned to say, I've put a decree, no one should mine in this area. I've suspended any mining activities in this area. I was there when I was doing that. I was there. That one I give 100%.
Okay.
It took me again to approach people like Chichari Banda Katongo to say, how can I reach the president for him to know what is happening in Mwinilunga? This is what is happening. The goodness Namachila had called the officer in charge of Mwinilunga, and we did arrest the bags, and we did get everything that they were mining.
Is that the one that went missing?
Yes, I wrote a report under the police. Say this is what is in the custody of the police. This is what is missing. 138 bags. In each bag, we could get 300 grams of gold.
So what's causing this disconnect if certain things are allowed to continue despite a presidential decree in this case to say no mining activities should take place, yet it still continues?
Charity, Zambia, we are, today, I can say we reach about 22 million people. If the Minister of Mines, there are 4 critical ministries which help the government to run. The labor itself is one of them, as you have said. But these 4, they are 2 critical. Number 1, Minister of Mines. Number 2, Minister of Commerce and Trades, Finance, and National Planning for Chitema. These people should sit down and realize that we need to move Zambia forward. We need to structure Zambia on its way to go.
You've said and cited examples of when you got involved personally to see certain things change, and you've had incidents where you credit yourself to certain moves being made. Clearly, we have a working administration, and if you have got all this information, what other steps have you made to see to it that some of these things are curtailed? Because as citizens, we also have a role to play.
Of course, I went as a citizen. One of the issues that I made was to make sure that I'm in contact with the IG, to make sure that if his officer in charge is doing his work. And I was interested in the minister because the minister knows what was happening in Kasenseri gold mine.
Is there political will to see to it that there is order in the gold mining?
Somehow, anyway. I won't talk much about that.
Well, no, you've said that you are making accusations here, maybe actually.
To who?
That the minister knows already. You were not interested in the minister, but you've credited the president already. Is there a will, the will of the...
one of the acts that the minister has been given, Charity, he's got the powers within him. That's the Mino Act. He's got the powers within him to cancel, suspend a license without the involvement of the president. It's too big. In the rank of the government, the minister, the president is too big to sort of such matters of the country. If the minister was interested of mines, to be so interested in the gold mine, you would have got the Honorable Campion would say, let's stop this.
All right. There's been different opinions and statements coming through from stakeholders, with others feeling this is not a strange phenomenon. This is something that has been with us. And government gets to get, if we have people investing in the mining sector in Zambia, they get the revenue, they get certain resources from having people actually mining the gold in Zambia, unlike just sitting down and waiting for 1 to 1,000 individuals benefit out of it. What is your comment on that?
I don't know how the government of Zambia has structured itself over the revenue, the taxes, how to benefit from the gold mine, the copper mine. I don't know. But my reasoning over this issue, or other, the Kasempa, the Mumbwa issue, is that the government of Zambia has not done its homework properly. They need to go back on the table and try to do something that can benefit the people of Zambia.
All right. Let's just hear from the viewers if we can have their take. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Nachoma bwanji mwana.
Nachoma bwino kaya imwe.
Last time you said that your children are tongas, right?
I beg your pardon?
Last time on the same program you said that your children are tongas on that nation.
Yes, they are.
So I'll call you from Jamla.
Okay. Nachoma bwino kaya imwe.
I can see that. Nice. Thank you. What's the name of that man?
Mr. Oshhood.
Oshhood?
Yes.
Is he Muslim?
No, he's Malambo. He's. I would love to speak.
Hello, Tunaribi Atata. All right, Tata Ndawa.
Yes.
Our government, especially African governments, apart from South Africa, kutoka South Africa, to Central Africa, there's a big problem. Problem really to reality. Sinofuna kushita empower abantu wano. You believe in kupasiwa or twena bwera. I'll give you an example kunokusena ngai. There's Kuriambatwa. Maybe you have seen it called Nasser Hara.
I'm not very sure I have.
Nasser Hara. Huh?
Anyway.
So much uyo muntu Somalian. So many chitika mafamba zinaenda ng'ombe kuno. Umuntu azitenga ng'ombe. Apaya ng'ombe wao. Kama kasandra mafate ng'ombe.
Ati aba akapaya ng'ombe achitabwa?
Mamana chikata so. Azapa uzamuntu azaba chani kotu bakibantu hapa ng'ombe. Namba abenazi batazapa nta transport refrigerator haki. Compare kwa za pesa. Azaba uza tumkabwe after 21 days wabo mtenya ngrama za.
Okay.
Yes. So must mulu lati. Uja mtangula or atenga vintu aenda kuisa the prophet here on the prophet ndio tena hapa kandama za mafama.
Exactly.
Yes. So namanga ndio na kamba huyo Malambo huyo. Muno mtambi I don't know why. Muno kusena anga kunvenyi liko. Ngati ile kuti mtemba license yo juma matimba. Abati kilisiza vile batoto ndio mchaji ni koti ya kutati nikangiwe. Mtenga license. That before na baba pasa yanayotoka mbati tax holiday. So they're closing us. It's not for ticket. In any idea, I spent the number of 30 years, but comment to say that kushia utakamini safari. Muzungu is a kupanga malai ake is a just supply madreges ali 58. So that idea in I applied to them for
Oh, okay. That's
so mamino kuno kwa nini ndio kusananga pa presi ta the condition so mukumba tena chaveo opena diamond everything in Muvi TV but rather depend on foreign
okay zikoma mulamu ni bwera kukumba kona ine okokote
charity Nibazeka maningi ndio mama ngawa I think I need to give him one.
Thank you very much for coming through.
Great children for me.
I will, thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so yeah, I forgot to make to to pass a message or so. We're going to restrict phone calls to at least a minute of your contribution. Only my Mulamo has gotten away with that one. And his observation is, maybe before we get to that, we just answer 3 more. Hello, good evening.
Charity Matandarauli.
Natandara Makola.
Okay, Wamtonga Mulibwan.
Bamalambo.
Bamalambo Muligabotu.
Buno muli bwanji baliwe labo tumalia.
Tilibwina mkama Moses Rungu.
Oh, Moses Rungu.
Ine kali mwana koti ndiye yodula maningi palikopa simame. Manje kulingana na ima Malambo. Mwana chamene chalenga uti Zambia ichitetirei kuyamba kuchita mining gold ni chani. Eni chinango itakuti sometimes ifetamene tavantu kairi timakhala na vision timafuna chape waenda wakumbako tung'ono wagulisa wagula kachafu wamwe mayo futi so chape timakhala naja mind yakuti invest ya so nifuna mtandizire kuti why has it taken me this long for Zambia to start mining because in Petauke there's a lot of gold here.
Okay.
So I'm wondering why I don't have mine because that's where I'm coming.
Okay, let's just get one more call and then you respond to the Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. You're through to the furnace.
Yes. I just want to make a contribution.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from within Osaka.
Okay, you can go ahead with the contribution.
Yes. I should say that I think we have a very serious problem as I don't know whether I should call Africans or Zambians. I'll give an example. Let me maybe use even my local language so
Yes,
that
sure.
others can also benefit.
Sure.
It's like you have a piece of land, Winamun farm, and then you discover that per farm paja, there are precious minerals. Or the soil is dotinia ilifeta maningi yakuti mungalimepo vintu vanzeru vandizinga step benefit na vana vako na vachipururu. And then you decide that you don't do anything pamaro paja. Then kuoneka muntu winango amundosakira muntu winango investor kapena investor yo abwera kuza kuti nifani aringe ni renting pamaro pa munda wako ni zili mama. Okay, and then you give away that land ayamba kulima but vantu vamena sevenzesa ni vana vako nayo nkhala pamene apo. Okay.
Yes.
And whatever is produced from that piece of land, mutenga mwendo kagulisa ndo vista benefit wa mpenango, wana wako watenga mapina. I think there is something wrong with that kind of thinking.
Exactly.
Because ngati wana wako wamene wana capacity ya utu wangazilima. Why don't you give them that chance? Mwarima, so that whatever ndarama zani musta raise, you develop that system very farm. Okay.
In this
Manje
case,
muwakoresa muntu arranging ndarama zamena panga pa farm paja aendo sta develop farm yake.
okay. All right.
Then it means there's something wrong.
Oh, all right. We get your reasoning.
Yeah. So I think even our leaders, the way they are thinking, me I always question. I'm not a leader, but if you are given an opportunity to make the wisest decision, I think this is the time they need to make that decision and prove to us that they have the capacity to lead.
All right.
Because I mean, it doesn't make sense. Someone you've discovered God in your own country, which can benefit your own local people. Why should you go and find someone else to come and mine then there's something wrong.
All right. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, so the first person who called was talking about how much government needs to empower the local people and just grant them the capacity because the investors get away tax holidays and the likes. And then the other person, Moses, was talking about how wants to find out what's causing the delay for Zambians to get involved in mining. And he also cited that sometimes there is a lack of vision.
Charity, I'll tell you, if Zambians in President Edgar Lungu's government, from the president himself to all these, are given a chance with capable by giving them affordable loans, because I'll take you back. Let me answer it in a simple way. We had bought fire tenders at $42 million. Where did we get the money? It means we have the money to support our local people than to sell shares to the Chinese colony.
Okay.
So the CCM, for my take, Chipata has misled the Republican president, number one. That I won't buy it. As a youth at the age of 37 years, Chipata has misled the Zambian president.
By what?
Chipata would have gone on the ground and said, "This is the." I don't need even.
You want to believe that he's not aware of what he's talking about?
He's not aware. If he's aware, Chaiti, he could go back to Mwenyilunga. You know why I'm saying so? I don't need a 2.5 to get from the government. Okay? I don't need anything from the government as at now.
All right.
Even the people of Mwenyilunga, let me just go this. Just give me a minute plus. We don't need a 2.5 from both Mwenyilunga, from both the government, from both even the CCM.
Okay.
The goal which is there is to take an excavator for PCB or an excavator for Sambaulu, who is a teacher in Mwenyilunga, or to get an excavator from just a nobody in Mwenyilunga and go on the site and a one container 2.5 of silver mercury. Or comrade, let me finish. Just give me time to finish so that we can create this together. Let us tell the people of Zambia the truth. I'm not saying you keep quiet out of this.
No, I'm just observing.
And get Comrade Edward in this studio, who knows about mining more than me, to go on the site and expose the vein. You know the vein? The vein, this is for the mineral, where the main pit has reached at 22 meters is the vein. And just get 200 bags of gold and tell Comrade Edward or Sambaulu or David Sapindula, say, these are the bags. These are the bags, Charity. Let us take the wash them. Nakutwa in our Zambian language. Kutwa, Charity. We take and we make 2.5 million kwacha. Right. And we call South African who know how to build a smelter. We pay them our money with our resources without getting any money from the government. This is where I'm saying, Your Excellency, can you fetch Pata?
Can we get a call now?
Yeah, we can.
All right. Kamasongo.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Actually, my BP is almost high.
Sorry, I've been missing your calls.
Thank you very much. How are you, Charity?
I'm fine, thank you.
I just wanted to ask the question, what that young man, the way he elaborating everything.
Yes.
About Maria Tata. Komuli. Kumamba kulinzi kuli mako a oil ajula alyaye. Even all. Oh, okay.
Tata wambula kabotwa yimwita kwewe okwinilira bya manangu tombotwa hapa tonche takwe chiru bidepe wabona yeba kaya nebi yebe kesh yeba kaya beauty yeba kaya yeba kaya kuti yeba kaya chita open kwa president. Maybe we can even suspect that man came from that Bukasetoni mine.
Which building? Which building?
I'm also trying to follow. I can't. I don't understand. I'm also trying to follow.
Yes, the charity. Yes, I'm trying to elaborate that. The young man, whatever he's trying to elaborate there, according to my own knowledge, is 100% plus.
Okay.
One particular person is in the provincial person who has been suspended, if not been fired. Right?
Yes.
Was been accused over the Catholic mine, not so.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
Yes. Then, among all those people, they have built, I'm non-partisan, mind you, I'm non-partisan. I don't belong to any other party, no.
Great.
But they built a very big building there in northwestern province. So, according to my own analysis, that is the provincial building which was opened by the honorable, my president, to say.
All right.
So I'm even suspecting that maybe that money, it came from that issue. I don't get to reach out.
Yes. I'm getting
Yes. Those are my own sentiments anyway. I'm not saying those.
All right.
But otherwise, it's a supposition anyway.
Okay.
It's a supposition.
Yes. All right.
Yes, this country, it belongs to all other people.
Exactly.
It doesn't belong to one particular place. You know, every particular person should benefit from the God which is there in northwestern province. Charity, even you are beneficiary.
Thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you very much. Otherwise, I would just like to be the way the young boy, the way he's articulating the issues.
All right.
I would like to be and
God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Same.
All right. Yeah, so the other one you didn't answer, I was trying to find out what has delayed, Zambians getting so much involved into mining, especially that we've been independent for over
56 years. You know, one caller had mentioned that you go to the field, you plant, instead of you planting, they
Go ahead.
Instead of planting, they call another person to come and plant in your own field and get out the maize you go and sell out, and start building his own house somewhere or whatever it is. We have that opportunity as country, as a nation, where we are given the whole entire. We find minerals, but what happens? The government itself does not protect its people. Not the president. I don't like people that point to the president Edgar Lungu. I don't benefit from Edgar Lungu, His Excellency. No, the government itself does not benefit.
All right.
Does not make the people to benefit from the minerals underneath there.
Okay. All right. And as we wind up, I would love to believe that a whole lot of people out there, the viewers, are agreeable to the fact that yes, Zambia has to benefit from the resources that the country has. But in your closing remarks, what do you think is the way forward, especially that we still have the gold before it actually gets finished?
I will appeal to the president on Tuesday and tell him that reverse the $2.5 million to the Chinese colony. And I will appeal to the president on Tuesday. I'll write a report for the police of Zambia to investigate if really the 2.5 million is the only money that was paid to the CCMIH. And that one, I'll take it seriously. And the other appeal I have for my closing remarks is to make sure that Chipata must be fired for not doing his right work.
Sir Oshugo, thank you so much for making an appearance on The Fairness.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right. This has been The Fairness. We've been looking at gold mining in Zambia and largely focusing on Kasenseli mines and the turmoil and confusion and a whole lot of political activities that has been involved at that mine. The good thing is that we still have a lot of deposits, we still have a lot of gold, And we are hoping for the best and just discoveries of a lot more so that we get out of these debts and improve our economy as a nation. This has been Charity Mtonga, handing over to Innocent Piri next week Saturday. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Good night. Thanks.
Where in this country will somebody steal an electoral box before the election day?
We bring you the best of African movies from Ghana and Nigeria.
Why would you use my ATM card without telling me? Is it because you have my PIN?
Watch the likes of Mr. Johnson.
As I arrest her now, they begin to try to pop like say that boiled egg. You don't swallow plenty.
John DeMello.
I found love in you.
Tonto DK.
Let's not kid ourselves.
And many more. Only on Africa Unite. One vision, one voice, one Africa.
Lwakona kuvitira fafasi coronavirus kono kulilweze chwalo luswane kulatea litaeloze. Mutape kwa mazoho nako ninako ni meze ni mulola kanako yeza mizuzu nyana ye 20 kapa kutola miliani ya kwa mazoho. Mukwahele kwango ni mulomo kalisila kapa ngokolo eputile amuhotola kapa kuitimona. Amwine mambala kalivi mazeza 1 meter kapa 3 feet. Amwine kwandu amsai kutwi hande. Muske mwa swala kwa meto ngo kapa mulomo ni mazoho a masila. Lingusale limitiselizwe ki Muvi TV kuvata bwino vobunde bwana ha Zambia.
Mchani.
Kaya matoma. Dade matoma. Dade.
Natimana mulopano ya chinja. Aba bana sinifuna mwana wanga olo umozi wende ukajenga komo. Ukajenga pa komo paka ito. Watunda tile mungu.
Nina nasi nkapa nkata kuti ndimulete pa dziko pansi pano vuma amene kuti ndilete mwana woni. Nilipa na mwana lumine.
Shangiwe. Iwa shangiwe panama. Kuta wangu boka bonka.
Nina bereti.
Onani mine chimsungira chimungu. Kusaziwa dawi na kwatira mkazi wanga ucha.
Mwaluba kuti ambuya wanu mwana mwachitira chimbuzi kuvala kwa kaina ndo chitira kwa kamwa mwaluba mwe.
Hello. We're going to win the fight against the coronavirus. But to do that, we need to follow these basic prevention guidelines. It is important that you wash your hands regularly for 20 seconds with soap and water or alcohol-based hand rub. Cover your nose and mouth with a disposable tissue or flexed elbow when you cough or sneeze. Avoid close contact, at least 1 meter or 3 feet, with people who are unwell. Stay home and self-isolate from others in the household if you feel unwell. Don't touch your eyes, your nose, or your mouth if your hands are not clean. Better still, maybe just don't touch your face at all. I know it could be difficult, but practice it. It's not impossible. This message is brought to you by Muvi TV for the greater good of Mother Zambia.
The coronavirus has affected our nation and the world at large.
We have to fight against this thing which has come for all of us. It's time to be spiritual, but not over spiritual. We must be factual, because we have to fight this battle together, because church is not building, church is people.
Who could ever think attending a church service online could be a norm, unusual for many Zambians? Today, people cannot meet physically but have to meet online for a normal church service. I will be speaking with Bishop Harrison Sakala of the Tabernacle of David Assemblies. Let's hear what he has to say. The coronavirus has affected our nation and the world at large because people cannot attend services physically but can only attend online. So what impact has this had on the church today?
It has affected the church in a way that perhaps has brought new innovation and is calling the church to be dynamic and innovative, because church is not building, church is people. So out of that, we can say that it's possible to minister to the church even when you as a minister of the gospel are not present with them. At the moment, of course, we have the situation of technology, which gives us a better footing than the Apostle Paul, who could just write on parchments and send them over. So I think that we can take advantage of technology. The church can innovate and still reach people, because we have to fight this battle together and not be an impediment to what others are doing in order to mitigate the effects of the coronavirus.
And so what is the role of the church during such a pandemic?
I think the role of the church during such a pandemic is to disseminate the right information. There's so much that is going in the air. I can mention it to say, for example, the 5G issue. And people are saying, no, there's no virus. This is 5G. I think at this point, my message to the church as well as the community out there is that let's minimize conjecture. Mostly us, the men of the collar, people have so much faith in us, so much respect for us. So what we say sometimes can be peddled as gospel truth. It's time to be spiritual, but not over spiritual. We must be factual, in the sense that we must also embrace science, because science at this moment is guiding the entire human race on how to fight against the COVID-19.
What do you think is the response of the church during this coronavirus?
We have to fight against this thing which has come for all of us. If we miss this chance right now as Zambia, if we miss this chance of obeying what the medical professionals are telling us, we may come to a point, and looking at our state in this country, the poverty levels and the like, and how we are grouped and so forth, we may come to a stage whereby this thing becomes uncontrollable. And when we listen to the news, it doesn't offer good news. It's saying that they fear that the epicenter of this thing may turn to Africa.
What are some of the lessons